Hello and welcome to this live here at mytheatreschool.com. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to have you here. Normally at this time on a Thursday night, this live Q&A call is normally exclusive for members only. This week I've kind of hijacked their Q&A session to have a public one. Members, don't worry, I will still be giving you the opportunity. We'll be scheduling another members only Q&A next week. But today, this is a big public one. Why? Because there's a couple of announcements that I'd like to share with the world. So, the way these member Q&As work, that if you have any questions that I can help you with, whether it's about the industry, about agencies, about working professionally, about training, whatever it may be, maybe you want some singing tips, whatever it is, get them in the comments. If you get those questions in the comments now, I'm just going to do a little bit of an introduction to stuff and then I'll be able to get to those questions very, very shortly. And I'm more than happy to help you. And I will stay here for as long as we need to get the answers to those questions for you. But before we get to those questions, get them in the comments, I would like to have a look at what's new inside the Academy, because we're always working on lots of different things. The Academy isn't like a set thing. It doesn't just sit there and that's it. We are constantly developing. And as people go back into normal classrooms, as normality comes back, especially here in the UK, people are going back into the studio and doing rehearsals. I love that, fantastic. These classes are great for social development, great for developing your skills. And a lot of people have asked me, do we do physical classes? Do we do real life classes? We are an online only service. We are constantly looking at ways of developing the Academy at My Theatre School to benefit everyone. Wherever you are in the world, you can access high quality education no matter where you are. That's the whole point in doing it. So we will not be slowing down with the contribution. We will not be slowing down with the content creation. We're going to keep on developing it to be the best educational platform there is around. So with that in mind, a couple of things that have popped up recently. Super excited to announce the German version of the Academy, aka Dein Academy. Let me give you a little cheeky little look at what that looks like. It's essentially the Academy in Deutsch, which I'm really super excited about. And you can check that out at mytheatreschool.de. There is lots more to come from that, some more bigger announcements, but you can have a little sneaky peek about what's to come. That means that the Academy is available for German speakers. There's a German version of the website there, but also the agency side of things is available for German speakers. That's super exciting for those guys over there, but more to come on that in the future. Another thing that I'm really excited to announce is the dance content. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this for so long. The lockdowns stopped us going into studios. We couldn't do it, no one was allowed. So we couldn't film any dance content for our members, which is a little bit frustrating because we were doing musical theatre training with no dance, which was a bit rubbish. But not anymore, because we've managed to get inside the studio with the incredible Claire Cassidy. She is mind-blowingly good, and we filmed a load of material for you. Now, this is phase one of that content. We're going to keep on adding lots and lots more stuff in there. In fact, why don't I show you exactly what that looks like right now. When you sign up into the My Theatre School, you will have, oh, let me just move that out the way. You will have, that's the wrong thing. You'll jump into the Academy, you'll have your dashboard, which it couldn't show you because Google Play now. Inside the Academy now, this is the dance section. As you scroll down, you can see there's a little welcome video from me, and then you've got your performance training down here. This performance training section at the bottom is what we're going to be focusing on. There will be technique elements coming in the future, and there will be basic dance steps for those beginners especially. There'll be some mini courses for that kind of stuff, but right now we're going to focus on performance dance, and there's a foundation section, an intermediate section, and an advanced section, right? So let's jump into this routine. This is a 30-minute session, 25-minute session that we've filmed with Claire, and the reason why I wanted to do it this way is because...
Okay, we're going to start with our routine.
Thank you, Claire. The reason I wanted to do it this way was because if we filmed it in someone's lounge or someone's kitchen, the audio wouldn't be very good. You wouldn't hear the track very well. You couldn't hear the teacher. It would have been a little bit frustrating for you guys. I didn't want it to look like another Zoom session. Didn't want that. So we've gone to the studio, we've mic'd Claire up, we've got some brilliant audio in there, and it looks and feels great. And this is, like I say, phase one. There's going to be, it doesn't matter if you're an advanced dancer or you're just a beginner. Advanced dancers need to go through the beginner process because we're talking about performance dance. We're giving you a purpose, a reason for every single movement that you do, every step. This is not just, I'm doing the step and finish. I'm doing another step and finish. That's not what performing is about. If you want to be a professional, you're going to need purpose with everything you do. And there is no one better at doing that than Claire Cassidy. Claire Cassidy is the dance repetiteur. I'm going to go, I said it, so I'm going to commit to it. The dance repetiteur for Matilda the musical. She teaches all of the young performers all of the routines for the show. She's an incredible professional, and she works at the same pace she does with those professionals in these videos. So you'll be working at a professional pace, picking up these routines, which is super excited. She's also a young performers casting associate for loads of West End shows. So she knows what looks good inside an audition room. Like, there is very, very few people that have Claire's ability. So she is going to take you through the process and give you a purpose and the energy and the amount of focus that you need for each single step. That's what the dance course is all about, right? In there as well, there's also interviews. We interviewed Laurie Scarr from Dale. That's one of London's new exciting musical theatre colleges. She talks to you exactly what she's looking for when you come to an audition for a drama college, which again is a super exciting insight. Let's have a look at the acting course, because I know a lot of people are interested in the acting side of things at the Academy at My Theatre School. So let's scroll down and talk about acting fundamentals. Ignore my monologues for now. Straight away, you get access to Inside the Monologue, which is an incredible acting course. Holly Taylor is a phenomenal actress, a great performer, and a really, really good educator as well. She takes you through this. She played Miss Honey in the West End. She's done loads of stuff on Netflix, loads of stuff on Disney+. She's a very, very talented young lady, and she's kindly put this section together for us. We talk about what the monologue is, how to break down a monologue. Like, monologues are a huge part of an actor's toolbox. You will need a monologue for the majority of auditions you go to, or they're going to send you a script, some sides, which you're going to have to learn to break down like a monologue so you can fully understand the character and how to portray that character as an actor. So what we do inside the Academy is we teach you the exact steps. These coaches, they take you through the exact process that you will go through as a professional, or to help you prepare like a professional. That's what this course is all about. So let me give it a dance. Thank you. So back into that, have a look here. Then you've got performing monologues, learning your lines, setting your stage, your character, and then putting it into practice. This is a really, really cool section. One thing that we've given you at the beginning here, this boneless download. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. You see that boneless download with my mouse there? That boneless download that's a monologue for you to download and practice everything to. So everything you're doing here, we give you resources to be able to practice all of this type of stuff. Once you finish this monologue section, then you unlock the My Monologue section in the bit I showed you before. I'll show you that in a moment. Carrying on down here, you've got TV and film auditions, whether that's slating, presenting the material, sight reading. You've got acting for screen, working with other actors, shooting. You've got self-taping. There is so much stuff inside the Academy with the acting side of things. Like I said, when you go through the monologue section, you open up My Monologues, you unlock this section, and every other week we will send you a new monologue. So like the first week, we send you the monologue to practice to. You spend a week working on that monologue. And then the coach, we've got Anna Buttery, who's working with us, doing loads and loads of content for us. She's amazing. And she breaks down the exact process that she goes through when sorting out these monologues. So you can learn how to prepare like a professional. That is what is super exciting about this whole situation. Let's jump into the singing side of things. Whether you are like, you consider yourself to just be an actor, sorry, jumping the screens around, whether you're just an actor or you are a singer, dancer, actor, whatever you consider yourself to be, I always tell everyone to try and learn as many skills as you possibly can, because then you become super, super employable. If you do just this one thing, then you're only suitable for that one thing. But let's say you're really good at this one thing, but you can also do this, this, and this. Then you become super, super employable. That is an exciting prospect for an agent. So if you only focus on one discipline, right now, I suggest you work on other disciplines. So actors, dancers who have only ever focused on that, the singing course is ideal. The reason I say it's ideal is because I did it, right? And I'm super excited to share it with you. So let's have a look at it. Inside here, the standard welcome videos, and then you've got this singing technique course. This is a 12-week technique course. So over a 12-week period, I'm going to introduce you to loads of singing techniques that professional vocalists use. Now, all of this stuff, this is all the introductory stuff here at the beginning. This is all the basics, and you have access to this straight away. And then each week, I'm going to send you a new series of lessons. And you can see here what is belting. This is a learn episode, an exercise episode, and then a practical episode. So in this first week, we're going to talk about belting. What is belting? I show you the exact steps of how to belt. And then we use this practical exercise to help you belt. You can practice your belting using this track here. And that goes the same for every single week. Learn vowel modification. That's a really, really cool technique to use. You would have heard it a lot in singing. You might not realize it most of the time, but it's a really, really cool technique to use. And we use this song, I Dreamed a Dream, to help you practice your vowel modification. And we've got anchoring, we've got tilts, we've got tone placement. There is absolutely loads of stuff when it comes to technique. That's a 12-week course that I put together for you, and you get a new lesson every single week. Scrolling down, we've also got common problems. So a common problem we always see is things like breathy tone, when you have that breathiness in your sound and you can't really hold long notes. And we talk about that and discuss that and give you some exercises to help you. Let's say you want a bit of extra help. If you click on extra help, then once you click on this mark as complete from this extra help, I'm going to send you a new exercise every other day and go through the exercise with you for a couple of weeks to help you get into that process of trying to exercise your voice regularly. Because that's one thing where we fall over, right? We have good intentions and we want to do it, but without that little extra push, we don't exercise as much as we should do. So that little bit of extra help is going to be great for you. You want to research the musicals? We've got you covered. We have a massive list of musicals, some of them that you never would have heard of before, some of them that you would have heard of before. And what's inside these? Well, if you go, let's have a look at, for example, Shrek the musical. You click on Shrek, there's a little insight. I've recorded a little insight so you can hear some of the story that we got here. There's a little video there from YouTube, which is the trailer, so you can see what the show is all about. The story, we've got some links that might be helpful for you with some of the tracks, some of the solos. There's just loads and loads of material in there for you to research, for you to have access to. Let's say you're in college and you need to learn about Shrek by tomorrow. We've got you covered. It's in there. Audition songs, mezzo-sopranos. There's a massive, huge list of audition songs. Some you will know, some you won't know. Let's look at Waitress. Okay, so this part here. So here's a YouTube video of the track. So you can listen to the track. Maybe that one's not for you. You want to scroll down. Let's listen to Times Are Hard for Dreamers. You can scroll down to that one, press play, and it's all there for you. So you can quickly jump from song to song to see which one you like straight away, which one you fall in love with. But essentially anyone can get that on YouTube, right? I kind of get that. We put it in an organized list for you, you can get access to it, but anyone can kind of do that on YouTube. What they can't do is break down those audition songs. So what I've done is when you finish the 12 weeks of technique course, I have now put together a load of audition songs and I describe how the singer is using the techniques that we've discussed and implemented them into the song. Now this was filmed when I had a dodgy lockdown haircut. Let's break this song down as we would do a monologue. Take some time to go through the lyrics. So essentially, that is a bad haircut and what inside the singing course looks like. I've also left this here. This is a little bit out of date. Obviously this was last week, but this is a West End workshop and it is free to Academy members. You can book onto these West End workshops for free. Simply click on the page, click on the date, boom, you are in. Once you confirmed it, you are in. There's nothing extra to pay. It's all part of the package. So that's singing, dancing and acting, live West End workshops, live Q&A calls. There's also the community, which I haven't shown you, which is essentially your chance to get access to us and ask any questions, any problems, any issues at any time of the day, no matter where you are in the world. It's super, super cool. And all of that is available right now at just £30 a month for the professional practice course. That's for ages 15 and above. And for if you're younger than 15, it's even cheaper. It is super cool, in my opinion. But I would say that, right? I would say that because I made it. But that is a little insight into what we get up to inside the Academy at my theatre school. But this is, I wanted to announce that stuff because I'm really proud of what we produce. And also the dance section is something I've been waiting to do for ages. I know the members that are in there right now have been desperate for this dance content and finally I've managed to get it for you. So it's all there for you. And now the people who haven't seen inside the Academy before have now seen what we get up to. So this is essentially a Q&A session. Any questions, any problems, any issues that I can help you with, any advice, then please do get them in the comments and I will get to them straight away. Where's my mouse gone? There's my mouse. I'm just gonna go and have a look at some of these questions. Oh my goodness. I can't get hold of the questions. They're on the wrong page. Let me turn that off. Bear with me a moment. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. That's supposed to be there. Oh no. Where's those questions gone? I'm just going to... I've got that song in my head. There it is. Okay. So, Laura says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Laura. Thanks for joining us. I really, really do appreciate it. Tidy Twin says, hi. How do you get an agent? This is a really good question. I get this question quite a lot. You get an agent more often than not by going to drama college. At the end of your 3 years training at drama college, the college invites all the big agencies to come down to watch a showcase. This is your opportunity to perform for those agents, and they will watch your performance and say, hey, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to represent you. Come and sign for my agency. You might get an offer from one agent. You might get an offer from 5 agents. You might be really, really popular and lots of people fighting to represent you, which is a cool position to be in. Or you might get no offers at all. You might get no offers from any agents, which will feel maybe at the time like the end of the world, but it's not, because you can still go out there and you can get onto Spotlight and you can apply for jobs and you can still get professional work without having an agent. And then as soon as you start getting that professional work, I guarantee agents are then going to be interested in working with you because you're working professionally. So that is the traditional route. The other route is to simply ask them. Get in touch with any agency and say, hey, are you taking on new clients? They're either going to say yeah or no. And if they say no, can you tell me when you're taking on new clients? Because I would love to be represented by you. That is essentially how you would get an agent. I hope that helps. Tie-dye twins? Probably tie-dye twins, tie-dye twins. Next question is, what is your advice for people that live in the Caribbean but there's no auditions here? Laura, you're in a difficult situation because you're in the Caribbean. Like you said, there's no auditions there. My advice to you would be to work on your training, work on your development right now. Make sure your skills are super, super advanced. Work on developing every single aspect of your skills. So when you're in a position to maybe travel to either the US or to the UK or anywhere in the world that has these opportunities, then you can do that at that point. But until then, to make you really, really employable, work on developing your skills. That's the best bit of advice I could have for you. The Caribbean does have opportunities. There's obviously TV opportunities that happen there, and there'll be local presentations and stuff. But essentially, obviously, there's a lot of them happening elsewhere. So my advice would be to get as much training as you possibly can. MyTheatreSchool.com is a perfect resource for you because you're getting West End quality training over in the Caribbean, which is obviously amazing. But you will have to be a little bit patient with when those opportunities come around. But that doesn't mean that opportunities won't be there for you, because I guarantee on Spotlight over the past month, Spotlight's like a casting agency casting website where they advertise all the big projects. I guarantee there would have been a project on there that you would have been suitable for. But to make it really worth them while, maybe either flying you out from the Caribbean or you traveling over, convinced you were going to get the part, you know, that situation, that you need to weigh up those travel costs as well. So lots to think about, but my advice would be to get as much training as you can, whether that's locally, what you have locally. If not, then come and join us at the Academy at My Theatre School. Like, how do you find one near you? Any advice? Oh, is that about the agency? Yes. Essentially, tie-dye twins, you don't need your agent to be near you. Like, you don't need your agent to be on the high street. Your agent could be anywhere in the country, in another country. As long as you have access to the internet, as long as you're willing to travel to the castings, which are if the UK, London, Manchester, Edinburgh, whatever, Glasgow, maybe, you know, as long as you're willing to travel, the agency doesn't need to be on your doorstep. As long as you can communicate with them. Zoom has changed everything now, so they can literally be anywhere in the world. So my advice would be, if you're looking for good agencies, look at your favorite characters if they're on the West End or if they're TV film characters, Google their name with the word agent, and you more often than not can find out who their agents are. And then these are the big agencies that you maybe want to work towards. But if you're a young performer, then possibly look at Bonnie and Betty, look at Daisy and Dukes. There is Sally King Casting, there's Mark German Management. There are loads and loads and loads of casting agencies out there. We have one at the Academy at mytheatreschool.com. It's exclusive for our Academy members. As they go through that 12-week technique training course, at the end of that, there is an audition there where they can audition for our agency, where we will represent our clients. That's how our agency works, but I'm not saying join us just to join the agency. I always tell people to join the Academy for the training rather than I just want an agent, because you need to go through that training process so we know that our clients have a good understanding of how the industry works. before we send him to those castings. And a lot of the big agencies as well, they will want you to have a good understanding. If you don't really know how things work, they might be a little bit hesitant to take you on, because essentially, even though they're representing you, you are also representing them when you go into the casting room. And if you don't give a good representation of yourself on that day, it's going to reflect badly on the agent as well. So yeah, go through, work on developing those skills. It's the best thing you can do, and then apply to those agencies. Just ask them. How old do you have to be an actor, or is there not an age? There is absolutely no age. There's young actors, there's middle-aged actors, there's really, really old actors. There is certainly no age. And it's never too late to start either. I always tell the story about my good friend Adam Beju. He was a scientist until he's 25 years old. And then at 25, he decided he didn't want to be a scientist anymore. He wanted to try this whole performing malarkey. So he trained at LSMT, that's London School of Musical Theatre. He came to work with me on tour. He was a vocalist, an incredible vocalist, and he toured around with me with the 12 tenors. Just one of the most amazing singers I've ever had the luxury of working with. Then he came to London, auditioned for Les Mis in the West End, and he played alternate Jean Valjean for 4 years. He didn't start till he's 25. So it doesn't matter how late you start, as long as you start. Give it a go. Age doesn't matter. Thank you for your question. Starfire Pluto, how do I fill up my demo reel to sign up for agencies? Could I film things myself to put forward, like writing my own things or recreating different scenes? Great question. Yes, you certainly can do that. And I suggest doing that for you to critique yourself. Watch it back and go, oh, is that any good? How was that? How would I change that? Be your own director. Be your own critic. And I didn't like the way I did that. I need to do that better. That's too convincing. Because acting for camera is very, very different for acting for stage. On stage, you need to be big and grand because the back row need to hear you and see you. Whereas on camera, I only need to look over there What there? On stage, it'd be, everyone look over there. Where? I'm being bigger because I need people to know that I'm looking. But on camera, it'd be like, look over there. What, over there? You know, everything's smaller and more subtle. So you need to critique yourself and understand how you can do that. But sending stuff to agencies, they're going to want to see, yeah, like a mini little show reel. So if you're a vocalist, send them like a 30-second snippet of your best bit of vocals. Don't send them this massive, long 45-minute video of you singing 12 songs, of you being a tree in the school play. Why? Because they're not interested. They've got so many people that they need to get through. Lots of people are applying. Lots of people are sending these videos, and they probably don't watch all of them because they're getting so many. So my advice would be to create a short little 30-second song, maybe a 30-second scene, more monologue. You can get loads of monologues on Google. We give you monologues inside the academy at my theatre school. And then, yeah, film that, edit it down so it's nice and presented, and then do a little introduction. It's called slating. We talk about that in the academy at my theatre school, and just introduce what you're about to do. But yeah, great question. Hi, Brianna. She said, should I move to the US? Because in my city, we mostly speak French, and I want to act in English. Brianna, you are speaking English right now. You're writing in English very well. So there is no, it's not going to make much. Can you afford to go to the US? Like, that's obviously expensive, right? Working visas, complicated. My advice, don't put so much pressure on your location. Your English is clearly very, very good. The trick is obviously going to be, can you perform without a French accent when speaking English? That's going to be an issue, maybe. Going to America, then you're going to have that American accent. Could you do any British acting if you had that? So you could essentially work on these accents at home, where you are right now. So don't put so much pressure on yourself to be in a different country to get these opportunities. Maybe later, I'm not too sure on your age, but when you get to the point in your career where like, listen, I definitely want to do this, then yeah, you might want to go to Hollywood to be a film actress. You might want to move to London to work in the West End, for example. But don't put loads of pressure on yourself while you're training and developing. You can work on your accents at home. But great question. Do you have any tips of acting? Yes, we have loads of tips on acting inside the academy at my theatre school. There's loads of cool stuff there. Jessica says, I'm 16, Mexican American. I have no experience and no agent. I'm a dancer. I studied and get in classes. What is the best move in this situation? How can I be in a big agency or get a job in the industry? So Jessica, being a dancer is obviously super cool, really expressive, but essentially a dancer's career is normally a little bit shorter than a singer's career. Because essentially there's lots of younger dancers coming through, and as you get to a certain age, they tend to go for the younger dancers because there's more energy there. Whether it's right or wrong, that's kind of sometimes how it happens. Not all the time, but most of the time. So I would suggest working on your singing and acting. And like I said, filming yourself and critiquing it is a great way to do it. Like I said, because there's not many opportunities for you in your local area. What is the best move in this situation? Yeah, keep on working on your own development. Keep on working on the other skills. There's no rush, Jessica. There's no rush. A lot of people think that they need to be ready and professional right now, right this moment, whether you're 12 or 22. That is not the case. There's no rush. Just keep on working on developing your skills. And when you start showcasing those skills, like there's a girl on TikTok at the moment she films herself doing acting scenes, and then she puts the lines for the other character on the screen for people to duet it or twitch it. I think that's it. And she is amazing. And from that, she's now getting adverts, she's getting castings, like she's getting some really, really cool things. So it might be an idea for you to showcase maybe some of your dances, your dance performances online. Maybe you should showcase some of your acting on Instagram Reels, whatever it may be. Use TikTok. TikTok's a phenomenal platform for that kind of stuff. So there's lots of opportunities, but if there's nothing in your area, the best thing you can do is work on developing your skills. And I know that's really frustrating because you want to be working or performing right now, but you need to be a little bit patient. Patience is going to be the best in this situation. Kelly Hook says, oh, there we go, Annie Wiggins. Yeah, Claire is the best, absolute best. Yes, she is. I'm 11 and not very much experience, but not the best singer, but really want to act. But how would I get an agent, and what types of things do you think I should do? First of all, if you're 11, don't criticize your own singing voice, because essentially you haven't gone through the changes in your voice for which you're going to go through during adolescence. So don't judge your singing right now, because if you keep telling yourself you're not very good, then you're right. You're not going to be very good. But you shouldn't be doing it because your voice hasn't developed yet. When you start getting to like 17, 18, when your voice starts to settle, into your early 20s, when your voice really does start to settle, then you can decide whether you're a good singer or not. But right now, don't tell yourself you're a bad singer. In fact, don't tell yourself you're bad at anything. You need a little bit of self-confidence, self-belief. Because if you don't believe in yourself, is a casting director going to believe in you? That's a question you need to ask yourself. So, lot of self-belief. Work on your own confidence, and then things will start to develop. That is probably the biggest bit of advice I could offer you right now. Moving on, next question. Starfire Pluto says, should I have a monologue prepared in case I am asked to show something? Yes, 100%. You shouldn't just have one monologue prepared. You should probably have about 3. Maybe like a serious, emotional one. Maybe a comedy one where you show lots of personality. Maybe an angry one, or a fighting one, or a classical one where you're doing Shakespeare or something. Like, have different variations that showcase your ability, showcase your strength. Like, that's really, really important. That's not just for monologues, that's for songs. You might go to an audition and say, hey, can you sing this song from Matilda the musical? Yeah, of course I can. I sing all the time. I've also got this song from Annie, this song from Billy Elliot. I've got lots and lots of different songs. So showcasing your best abilities, having those different tools to showcase those abilities is really, really important. So don't just have one monologue, have a few. Great question though, really good. Is a popular or obscure monologue a better choice? Again, change it up, because you can offer these options to your casting panels when you go in. Would you like to see a classical monologue? Would you like to see a Shakespeare monologue? Would you like to see an obscure one? Would you like to, you can ask them what they want to see. It might be beneficial. So having those different options is going to be really, really helpful. I always thought some people could sing and others couldn't, but I would love to have a powerful voice. There is absolutely no reason why you can't have a powerful voice. You just need to work on it. Essentially, belting is just shouting, right? I think if a singing teacher heard me say shout, they would say he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I always put it this way. If you're sat on the toilet, right, and you're doing a number 2, and you've got no toilet paper, the first thing you do is you shout for help. I'll shout my mum. Mum! Mum! When I'm shouting my mum, that is me shouting healthily. I'm not aggressively shouting. I'm not angrily shouting. I'm just shouting for mum. Mum! If I sustain that word mum, if I make it longer, mum! Then if I add some vibrato, that wibbly wobbly sound, mum! Okay, that's kind of like belting, right? So essentially I could create that big powerful sound just by healthy shouting. That's essentially how we teach it inside the academy. We do that as the extreme to introduce you to it, and then we teach you how to add tilt and make it sound healthier and placement. There's lots of other things that come with that, but an introduction to belting, that's essentially how we could do it. And there's no reason why you can't do that. Absolutely none. In fact, you probably already know how to belt by shouting for your schoolmates across the yard, by shouting for your work colleagues, wherever you might be. You've already taught yourself how to do it. Just didn't even realize. Next question from Cara. Thank you, Cara, for your question. If I go to a musical theatre college in London, could I still go down the route of more acting? Because I'm hoping to go to London next year to acting college in Italia Conte or Guildhall or Royal Welsh. Those are really, really great schools that you've mentioned. Absolutely. So more often than not, I know that Erdang does. I know that Bird does this as well. I'm sure there's a few others as well, where they kind of split you into different tracks. So if you go there and you're really, really strong at dancing, then you'll get put on the dancer track. Acting track, singer's track. So dancers, on their track, they'll get more dance, less singing. Actors will get, singers will get more singing, less dance, I believe. And then the triple threat course, you'll get an even balance of all three disciplines. So they kind of accommodate for your strengths. But if you want to be more of an actor without doing the musical theatre stuff, then you probably need to look at an acting course. Whether that be Guildhall, whether that be Drama Centre, there's lots of incredible acting colleges out there. These acting colleges will do some singing and movement with you. Just because you go to an acting course doesn't mean that you don't do any of that kind of stuff. They will cover singing and movement dance with you. And not to the extremes as the musical theatre colleges, but more often than not, they will do some basic stuff with you. So you might want to look at some, if you want to be a serious actor, go down that acting route. But doing musical theatre, there are so many people that are trained in musical theatre that are doing TV and film acting. It doesn't if you do musical theatre course, it doesn't mean you're not going to be a serious actor. If you do an acting course, it doesn't mean you are going to be a serious actor. It all depends on what you put into it and what you take out of those courses. Make sense? I hope that helps, Cara. With all of this, is there when you join, or is it for anyone? With all of this, is it there when you join, or is it for anyone? Are you talking about the Academy? I think you're talking about the Academy when I was showing you that. Yeah, so when you sign up to Academy, you get access to everything I showed you for that super, super low price, which is kind of bonkers, right? You get access to all that acting content, all of the dance content, all of the singing content. You get the live West End workshops, the live Q&A calls, the community to give you direct personalised feedback whenever you're asking for it. There's so much support in there, and it's all available for £30 a month, £25 a month, depending on your age. Like for the price of one lesson somewhere else, you get all of that content. I think it's amazing. I would say that because I made it. There's also the 14-day money-back guarantee as well. So if you signed up to the Academy and you didn't like it within the first 2 weeks, you can just say, hey, Carl, I want a refund. It's not for me. I'll say, no problem. There's your money back. No questions asked. That's the way it works. Because I really want people to be there who want to be there. That's why I put that. And I'm really confident that you're going to love it. That's why I put that money-day-back guarantee in there. Cara says, but would I be better off auditioning for musical theatre colleges? Well, yes. So hopefully I covered that in that question for you, Cara. Holly says, hi, I'm late, sorry, hello. Hi, Holly. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate you being here. Hi is Frankie. Hi, Frankie. Paige, thank you so much for joining us. Tie-Dye Twin says, is Spotlight free? No, Spotlight is not free. So when you join an agency, you'll never ever pay to join an agent. Well, you shouldn't ever pay to join an agency. Your agent will ask you, more often than not, to sign up to the Spotlight, which costs £103 a year. And Spotlight is essentially an online CV where all the big casting directors and all the producers, they post all the big opportunities on Spotlight, and your agent will then submit you for those opportunities using your profile that you've paid for on Spotlight. That's how that works. None of that money goes to the agency. It's just for Spotlight. They may also ask you for some headshots as well. And that can cost you anything from £60 to £400. Depending on what type of headshot person you go for. But bearing in mind that your headshot is an insight into what you can do. So one headshot might be you looking vulnerable, and the other headshot might be you looking all sassy, maybe you could be a school bully, maybe you could be a criminal. Like, you need to showcase these different personality traits that you could potentially play inside of these headshots. So getting Auntie Jane to do it in the garden on her iPhone probably isn't the best way to go about getting your headshots. So you might want to spend a little bit of money on some headshots, only if you can afford it. If you can't, don't stress about it, don't worry about it too much. Literally just focus on getting your development. And you don't really need those headshots until you're on Spotlight. If you're not on Spotlight, casting directors will normally just ask for a selfie because they want to see the latest version of you. So yeah, that's essentially how those different fees work. But Spotlight is not free, unfortunately. Michael says, are A-list projects such as Netflix on Spotlight, or do you have to be part of a popular agency like Curtis Brown? So Netflix, yeah, they post a lot of their projects. A lot of the big projects are on Spotlight. But you don't need to be with a big agency. The big agencies might get like exclusive opportunities every now and again, like the really, really big ones. The casting team might just go, I'm just going to ask my trusted agencies that I always go to. So the smaller agencies are not going to get an insight into those. But more often than not, the projects are open for all agencies to send their clients to. Now, I run a production company as well. We produce shows that tour around Europe and Asia. So we run casting sessions in London. And when I post out a casting session, it goes out to all the agencies. And let's say for a project, we might get like 2,000 applications. We can only see 60 people a day for singing, for example, for one-on-one auditions. So I've got to whittle those 2,000 down to 60 for that one day of casting. So we're going to go through those. And you mentioned Curtis Brown. I've worked with Curtis Brown before, great agency. And so if we saw their client popping up, then we go, Curtis Brown normally has great clients. Let's bring them in, and they'll be on like a yes list or a maybe list, or we're not going to see it on this occasion list. But you don't necessarily need to be on a big agency's list to get seen for things like Netflix. More often than not, these big projects, like a lot of the stuff that I post on TikTok and stuff, for the castings there, they're normally unique opportunities. Like they're looking for someone who looks very, very specific or has a certain image or a certain skill. That's why they open these big open casting calls. And sometimes it's because they want to advertise the part. Imagine if Harry Potter was coming back and they were looking for the love interest for a big character on Harry Potter. Like if they advertise that, the amount of coverage that would get from marketing is huge. So, oh, they're looking for this character it's coming back. Oh my God, it's amazing. When we did the Heartstopper stuff on TikTok, when we done that recent one we done the other day, like lots of people, oh, they love these books, they love these opportunities, and the fact that they're coming to film, it's part of the marketing process as well. It's very, very clever, but they are genuinely looking for these parts. And the open calls are normally for people who are unique to these images or these specific requirements. But you don't need a massive agent to get those. Not all the time. Not all the time. Okay. Hi, Ellie. Ellie says, I applied to be an extra for a movie 3 days ago. When should I expect to hear back if I am successful? Is background work kind of a last minute thing? And could they contact me at any time? Thanks. Ellie, thank you very much for your question. If you apply for something, the best advice I could give you is to apply and then forget about it. Forget it exists. Because you're going to sit there in your chair, rocking, waiting for this reply to come from these casting directors who have thousands of applicants. And they don't reply to everyone. They only really reply to the people they want for the project. And it's really frustrating because a lot of people apply and then, why aren't they getting back to me? Why aren't they getting back to me? And it's really annoying. But they essentially don't have the time. And some people think it's really rude. Other people completely understand it. But essentially, the best thing you can do is apply for it and then forget about it. And if they do contact you, bonus. Congratulations, well done, what a lovely surprise. If they don't contact you, it's just another opportunity for which they couldn't fit you in for. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you haven't got skills. It just means that either they didn't get to your application because they already cast it before they got to your email, or they didn't think you were suitable for this project. Doesn't mean you're not suitable for other projects. So apply and then forget about it, because they probably won't get back to you unless they want to see you. Great question, though. Do you have any tips on keeping a good posture? Do you know what, AW? Good posture is really tricky. People forget about posture. It's so easy just to go, it's so much more comfortable. But good posture is going to solve so many problems. I've met so many singers over the years who, I can't do this. I'm struggling with this hitting this note. Okay, then let's sort your posture out. Oh, all right, okay, they sort the posture out. Like, okay, solution. Posture is the first thing I look at when it comes to singing issues, because more often than not, there's tension here because they've not got that posture right. But it's all down to you. It's all down to your training. There are things you can buy, like little straps for your back to make sure that you're stood, but they all kind of look a little bit dodgy. It's down to you consciously going posture. I'm singing posture first thing. Right, I'm going to do a vocal warm-up. Posture first thing. Getting everything right. Like, it's a step-by-step process, and then you just get into a good habit of telling yourself off before you can do it wrong. But great question. Hannah says, I have a strong Manc accent. Any advice on learning different accents? Hannah, embrace your strong Manc accent. Why? Because people are going to love it. I know that one of the acting coaches at one of the London's leading musical theatre colleges, he has said that if you have a monologue and it's got like a Cockney accent, ignore the accent and do it in your own local accent. Why? Because it adds authenticity, and there's a real big craze, I believe, at the moment for individual accents. And you hear like a lot of voiceover stuff. Like, you could potentially do a lot of work with voiceovers. And this is the area that people forget about, is that you're an actor, absolutely. But because you're an actor, you have this amazing voice of making it sound really interesting, and I'm really excited to tell you about this thing. You doing that in a Manc accent can be really unique. And more often than not, you'll find, like on BBC Radio 1, they'll have like a northern accent doing the voiceovers and stuff, or especially when it comes to big features, because a lot of the presenters are, well, used to be, not so much anymore, but a lot of them were quite southern based because that's where the studios are, and every now and again you get that northerner coming down. But mate, embrace the Manc accent. Why? Because it's gorgeous, it's fierce. I'm from North Wales, so I love a little bit of Manc. But yeah, but learning other accents is a real tricky thing. Don't know if you're watching Line of Duty at the moment, but the guy who, like the main young guy in there, he is Scottish, but he has an English accent in the program. Like, and everyone's like, "What? He's Scottish?" Because he's really good. But accents is really unique, and you probably need to do specific accent training if you want to get away from that Manc accent. But don't neglect it completely. Great question. Hi, Lydia. How many headshots do you think you'll need? As many as you can produce. As in, if I'm a casting director and I'm looking for someone who could play a vulnerable, someone that's been bullied in school, a victim, then if you have a headshot that showcase your ability to look like someone who's vulnerable, who maybe might have been bullied in school, then you've done half of the job for the casting director, because they can already visually see you looking like a victim. Make sense? So maybe you could be a victim, but then in your next headshot, maybe you could be sassy. Maybe you could be the bully. Maybe you could change your hair up a little bit. I'm not saying like do a full costume for each one. Just give the impression that you could be that. Maybe I might wear like a white blouse or something. I love the word blouse. You wear a white blouse and you would look a little bit more internal, sat like that, and this is the headshot. And then for your next one, you can look like a businesswoman with a strong collar on, or a cravat. Is that a thing? I don't know. But you'd look powerful, strong shoulders in there. Like, give the casting director everything they need to make them go, you look like you could play that part. And the more you know yourself, more you understand yourself, like if you know you couldn't get away with being a bully, then don't try and be a bully. If you couldn't get away with being a street urchin in Oliver Twist, for example, then don't try and be that scruffy little street urchin. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, you work out what you're good at, try and put that into images, and yeah, that would be really helpful for the casting director. Moving on to Jessica says, if I want an agent to represent me, do I send a formal message or an informal, fun one with more personality? Jessica, it all depends on you. Are you a more informal personality person? If so, then do that. If the way you speak to people and you want to be if you want to like walk into a room and people to think of you as being quite a formal person, then send a formal version. It all depends on you as the individual. You may have seen on the website, mytheatreschool.com, I've put together some email templates that you can download for free. And in there is, I've scripted 3 different versions of the same email of sending to a casting director. And there's a formal one, there's an informal one, and there's a more dead chill one, laid back, cheeky one with a bit of personality, trying to make them smile. So all depends on the individual. Use those templates to create your own version. Don't copy it word for word. Use to create your own version, but essentially it's all down to you. It's all down to you. Starfire says, when you get a rejection email, is asking for feedback impolite? You can certainly ask. You might not get it because obviously they're super busy, but yeah, why not? It's always, I've had feedback emails and it's always like, why didn't I get the job? I'm like, I haven't got a huge amount of time to tell you why you didn't get a job because this is not an educational process. If I could say, look, you weren't right because we were looking for someone with red hair and you didn't have that, then fair enough. That should have been in the brief from the beginning anyway. But maybe we're looking for someone who has a vocal range of this and you nearly had it, but you didn't quite have the texture or the tone that we were looking for, then that's a decent excuse. So you can always ask for feedback. You might not always get it though. Great question. What is the best way to get an agent without much on my CV? You don't need much on your CV. Essentially, the agent is there to help you get things on your CV. What you need is talent, ability, potential, and passion. You also need the support. If you're young and you need to get to, let's say you live in the north and you need to get to London for castings, have you got the support to do that? Can you afford to do that? Like, these are all things that agencies will take into consideration, because if I get you a casting for a massive project, which is in London tomorrow, can you get there? Can you afford to do that? Is the family going to support you and take you down there? Do you know what I mean? There's lots of things to think about like that. Because if you say, no, I can't make the casting, I'm like, it's a huge opportunity, which you're perfect for. Please get to London. No, I can't do it. Mum said I can't go down, or I can't afford to come down. There's lots and lots of things to think about. So it's not just a case of, have I got the ability, especially when you're young. When you're older, then there's a different conversation, but don't worry too much about not having much on your CV right now. If you are worried about that, then go and get some stuff on your CV. Go to your local amateur dramatic society, get something on your CV. Even though it's Amdram, it still gives you some experience. Go to your local college. They might be doing a short film course. There'll be opportunities for you to work on camera. You might have to do it volunteer, do it for free. I think on mandy.com, which is a casting website, they post free opportunities on there. And it's normally like student short films, but it gives you a chance to act on film and get a HD version of the recording of you being amazing on camera. So check out mandy.com. I'm pretty sure the free opportunities are there for you. Do you know anything about the Take That musical movie casting? I got a call back, but haven't heard anything else. It's cast by Gina J. Gina J is a massive casting agent, and if you haven't heard, did you say you got a call back, but you haven't heard anything else? If they haven't got back to you, then they're either still in that casting process, or maybe they've moved on to the next phase and they didn't consider you for that and they just haven't told you about it because there's loads of applications. Normally for callbacks though, they do kind of tell you what's going on. So either pop in an email, say, is there any update on the casting there's no harm in you asking. They'll either get back to you or they won't. I'd ask. But Gina J is like a big time casting director, so I know they're going to be super busy with lots of different projects. But I hope that answers all of your questions. The questions have slowed up in the comments. I hope I've managed to answer everything for you. In the meantime, if you'd like any more information on the Academy, just get in touch with me at office@mytheatreschool.com or take a look. Go to mytheatreschool.com and have a little nosy around the place. I'm super proud of it. I know you'd love it. But I understand that sometimes you have to wait a little bit before you decide these things. So I'll keep on posting things on social media. Castings, when they come up, I'll post them on social media as well. Hopefully, if you're suitable for them, you can submit yourself. But super, super cool. I really appreciate you guys joining me on this live Q&A. It's been a 50-minute session. I didn't expect it to be this long. I didn't expect so many questions, but I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me. I will certainly do more of these. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I shall see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.